Welcome to Encore, the show for and about Encore entrepreneurs by the Encore Entrepreneur Institute. We are here to discuss entrepreneurship for the small business. So let's get started. Welcome our special guest today, Peg Fitzpatrick, who is a social media influencer, blogger, marketing pro, and speaker. She co-authored a book with Guy Kawasaki called The Art of Social Media. How are you today, Peg?
I am so good. It's always a good thing when you can get connected and record starts. So we're off to a
Oh,
great start.
oh, absolutely. And for those who are watching live, I just put a link to the book so that you can see it as well. And we will be talking today about social media management, how to get it all done. So again, if our audience has any questions that's here live, please type them and send them to us. We're going to try to answer as many audience questions as possible. So here we go. So Peg, you have to have a busy day just with social media, right?
I
So,
do. Yeah, it's all the time. You know how social media is. It's 24/7. It's like once you start, 7 years ago, I'm still online.
that's funny. That's funny. But I want to know how you manage it because, I love social media, but it does seem to encompass my entire day sometimes. So how can
Yeah.
you walk us through what your day is like managing your actual workflow?
Yeah, every day can be a little bit different, but in general, if we'll start from the if everything just goes perfectly is always like we plan, which it never does. There's always stuff that comes up. The first thing I do is like at the beginning of the week, honestly, on Sundays, I try to get my whole week set up. So first I'll like check and see what's going on that week. Like tomorrow's Groundhog Day. So I'm going to post some things for Groundhog Day. So like I try to look and see what's out, what's going on for the week, what's current news that because there's different. I mean, and I'm getting into a little segue already. All right, I'm just going to finish this, then I'll go to the other part. Because I try to plan for the things that I know that are going to happen. I
Mhm.
know it's going to be motivation, Monday motivation on Twitter because it's Monday. Like I plan for the things I know, and then I try to plan out as much as I can because I manage a bunch of different accounts. Um, so I try to plan as much as I can, be organized. I really know like what I want to share for all the different accounts. So at this point, it's not like brand new, like what is this account's persona? What do they talk about? Like I have those things down. So it's different. Like if you're at the beginning of managing something, if you're just doing your own things, or if you're doing someone else's that you've been doing for a while. So if you're just doing your own social media, you should be able to give yourself a little head start and get some stuff scheduled out using Sprout Social, which is my favorite, or Buffer or Hootsuite. So I always recommend to people, if you're an individual, try them all out and see which you like the best. Because there's a lot of people that are huge Hootsuite fans, and
Mhm.
they have a great team, they have a great program, they add lots of new stuff. Sprout Social, just like the interior is what I like the best. Like I like their user experience, and a couple of their features really speak to me. And then Buffer is perfect if you're brand new because you can't actually respond to people on Buffer, but you can schedule things, and there's plenty in there if you're doing things just for yourself that you can then respond to all the comments on the different social platforms.
No, those apps are absolutely great. I started using
Yeah.
Hootsuite recently, and it's been a
Yeah.
great, great help. So, is there an app
Yeah.
like I'm sure you do an editorial calendar as well, not just for the week, but probably even longer? Is there an app that people can use to plan out, according, just like you said, the holidays and things that you know that are coming up?
Well, I use the calendar like in Sprout Social, and
Okay.
Hootsuite also has a great calendar in there as
Okay.
well, so you can see. But as far as that kind of thing, I plan content to go out in Trello. I don't know if you've used
Mhm.
Trello before. It's trello.com,
Mhm.
and I can put a link. I'll just type it just in case people can't hear what I'm saying, because sometimes people think that's what. So Trello is I love Trello. It's so well organized. Like the way you set it up, you can color code it. I wish you could screen share and blab. I would show you guys what my my Trello looks like. I do have a blog post where I talk about it a little bit, but what I love about Trello is that I can organize all the assets. So if I want to do Facebook posts with graphics or Instagram posts that I can't schedule, I can put them right into Trello. I especially like to use it for Instagram because you can put your pictures in there and then you can add your comments and your hashtags and save it. Ross is asking, he said he'd love to see how I use it. I'll make a little video of it because I figured out how to make a video of my iPad. Like I know you already knew that, but I just figured that out. So I'll make a little video of how I use Trello because it's really, if you haven't tried it out and you're looking for a way to be organized, Trello is the best. You know what? I can show you on my phone quick.
Oh, yes. Go ahead, please.
I'm like, how can I show you? I know, like, not being able to see stuff is not cool. So in Trello, they have one thing I like about it is there's an app, so you can have it on your phone, your iPad, or your desktop. And I love that because then it syncs everything automatically. So I can type everything on my desktop, and then it'll be right in my on my phone. So I just made this little graphic and posted on Instagram an hour ago. So that's actually in Trello.
Oh, nice.
And if they have a little board, it's harder to see it on the phone, but there's little boards and they have little, you can just scroll to the next one. And these are all like things I've posted on Instagram.
Oh,
so
God.
like if I post Mr. Kawasaki again, like, it's right there. And then you can just download it on your phone. This was actually one that I did. So it's got my branding on there. It was a quote that I did. And then underneath it, I have the text. This is my top secret stuff, people. I put the text right on there, and then I can cut and paste it, and it makes perfect Instagram posts. And I love that. Yeah. For Instagram, I also started using Latergram. I didn't use it before because they used to break the Instagram terms of service by posting for you. So I never recommended it to people, but they have fixed everything. And Latergram, you can actually schedule in there. It doesn't post it, but it sends you a little notification on your phone. And Hootsuite does that as well. Janice, you said you started using Hootsuite.
Yes, I just started using it, and it's been really, really good for me because I'm not on my computer as much. I already have my things scheduled, and it shows me right away who's responded, who's retweeted, so that way I can respond to them, and I can do multiple accounts. So I really like that idea.
Yeah, and it's great when you get your little dashboard all set up. You can actually add your Instagram posts into Hootsuite as well. And you can set the app up on your phone and it will give you a notification. Like if you schedule it tomorrow at 3, your phone will give you a notification and say, ding, post your Instagram post.
Oh, wow. Okay, I will definitely look into that as well. Now, do you ever feel overwhelmed with posting to all the social media outlets? You know, I'm thinking like writing the blogs and responding to people. It definitely seems like a full-time job. So what do you do when you feel this way? Do you feel this way?
I think everybody feels this way because I think everybody feels like the pressure to be everywhere. And I think for a while, and somebody did ask a question that was similar to this. For a while, everybody was like, you have to be everywhere. Every person needs to be on every social platform. And that makes really everybody get overwhelmed. I work in social media and I write about social media and it's my job. So I am on almost all the platforms, but I don't tell other people to do that because it is a lot. Honestly, it is. Like there's other people who pick Instagram only or Pinterest only. So they focus on like every Pinterest update and just every Instagram update. So you don't have to be on every single social platform. The other thing is I don't freak out if I'm offline for a while. Like before I used to worry about it. I do keep up on things, but if you're offline for a while, honestly, the world doesn't come to an end. You know, people will tweet you. You can catch it when you come back on. So sometimes I think we just need to cut ourselves some slack and not take everything so seriously. You know, because I think that's what happens is people get like, it's not even fear of missing out. It's like, it is sort of fear of missing out, but you just get like, you put so much pressure on yourself to be awesome on stuff. And I think that it makes it more stressful. It's hard being everywhere. It's hard being a blogger. Like, honestly, some of it may look easy, but it's all hard work.
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
yeah. So I will take a break if I feel stressed out and, just do something where I'm not online.
Right,
That's,
right. Would you?
sometimes just let yourself, if you're frustrated, really, if you're frustrated, you should get offline because you might answer someone and be snappy.
I was about to
Like,
ask you, do you ever tune out, turn off, and just zone out?
yes,
Yeah,
I
good,
do. I
good.
do. You have, everybody has to. We need to have like time. I need more time away from it because honestly, I'm online a lot, but I do need to work on that myself, but I do try to.
Okay,
Like
good.
last night when Grief was on, I was tweeting, but only because I loved it so much and I love live tweeting fun things. But I was really like immersed in, I don't know if you guys watched Grease Live, comment in there and say who your favorite person was. I was like totally in love. Did you watch that last night,
I
Jen?
did not. I saw all the social media coming, going
Oh,
crazy, but I rarely watch television. I'm usually working. I work
I know.
constantly.
I usually don't either, but I love Greece so much, and it's cool to have live events that you use with social media. So I don't know, like I don't know what my followers thought, but I went from talking about social media to like, oh my God, Dee Khan did a guest appearance. It was funny. So
Oh, that's cool.
I do take a break. I don't really watch TV anymore, but going to the movies is a great break because you
Oh,
literally have to put your phone away.
that's a good tip. When you're burnt out, need a break, go to the movies. I like it. You're absolutely right. So I'm going to take a question from the audience because this looks like we have a lot. And
Okay.
Helona, hi Helona. She asked, how many platforms do I need to be on as a business owner? And you said not all of them. She kind of answered that a bit already, but not all of them. But do you suggest a particular number?
Well, if she's a business owner, maybe she can do question again and just say what type of business she
Yeah.
has. But if she's a business owner, I would definitely say LinkedIn for sure,
Mhm.
because LinkedIn is where you're going to network and connect with other people in whatever industry you're in. And then, it depends on what you do. Like everyone in business doesn't need to be everywhere, but you should be the places where you can find people in your industry that you can connect with or your customers. So it depends on, what you're doing. Are you in sales and you want to connect with executives? Then LinkedIn and maybe Twitter. Facebook is really hard to connect with other people, and Facebook is hard to build new social on at this point. It's, paid. You need to do some paid media to build your page up. It's just the edge rank is, even though they don't call it that anymore, the algorithm on Facebook has like basically shut down the faucet of people that find you. So it depends, if you're already places and you have a big following, keep it up. I did see that she also asked about Google Plus, which I loved Google Plus the best for really well. Pinterest was always my 100% favorite, but
Mhm.
Google Plus I worked really hard on, but honestly, it has slowed down a huge amount.
Mm.
So I don't make it a priority, but things that I post on Google Plus still go into search. So if I have important things like my blog content or something that I want, to go and do Google search, I will post it. But I don't spend as much time as I used to spend on Google Plus.
Okay. Alona said that she helps entrepreneurs write their signature book. So that's what she
Ah,
does. So does
okay,
she
so then I
do?
would say Twitter too, because Twitter's a great place to connect with authors. And Instagram, there's really good hashtag groups for authors on Instagram, really, really good ones. And on Twitter, I love every Friday, there's Friday Reads, and it trends every week. And like everybody just tweets books they like, authors are on there. So hashtags are definitely the place to go to connect with authors. So I would say LinkedIn and Twitter if I was going to pick two. And if you had a little time and wanted to do one more, I would say maybe um, Instagram. Because
Okay.
depending on the age of her authors, but it might be signature authors, I would say definitely LinkedIn.
Okay. Great. Great. Let me.
Tim McVeigh just said it's ironic that Facebook makes it hard to connect, but it's true.
It does.
It's easy to connect with your friends, but not people that you don't know.
Right. I wonder how that's going to play out in the long term. I know the advertising is very profitable for them, but as far as businesses, it's become very difficult to connect and build your audience, like you said. So,
Well, if you have a little budget, and I'm talking really small, like $5 a week, you
Mhm.
can really kill it on Facebook advertising. It's really inexpensive to do well. But it's just not nothing. Like it used to be,
Right.
100% free everywhere, but I think we're seeing everywhere is going to be paid media soon. So I guess we
Absolutely.
should just appreciate all the free time we had.
Yeah, I guess yeah, we didn't. But the thing is, like, I noticed with that, with Facebook or my business pages anyway, that people don't see a lot of the posts unless you promote them. So,
Yeah.
that's the part that, like, okay, I got to pay for people to see it. But, we'll see how everything works out. So,
Mhm.
walk me through a day in the life of Peg Fitzpatrick with social media. What do you do when you first wake up?
I check my phone, which somebody asked if I check my
Yes,
phone first. My phone first. I check my phone or my iPad mini. Like I have both of them right there. But I'm really good. Like I have all notifications turned off at like 9 o'clock at night to 7 o'clock in the morning. So I do not get notifications at all. There's like no sound that comes from my phone after those times. So I do like have ways where I disconnect it so it's not like overwhelming. I don't know how people sleep when they have. I'm not a teenager. I don't have my phone under my pillow. I can wait to see your tweet until the morning. um, but I do check things right away. And then the first thing I do is I'll post important things but I usually have things scheduled out, but sometimes it's a trending topic. I'm usually the other thing I was going to get into is sometimes you just have to check and see what's hot right now. Like you have to look and see what's trending. Those
Mhm.
things can be popular. So I kind of check to see what's going on. And then I check to see if the things that I posted went okay. Then I start responding to comments. So it's kind of like a cycle of, I like to, all the communities that I manage, I really manage them. Like I don't like spam comments. I like keep on all of them because I like them to be awesome for people. So that it all takes time, and then it's, checking in on this and checking, Twitter, so it's a lot of that. Like because I pre-schedule things, it gives me time to engage
Right.
in questions and comments. So that the pre-time that I plan gives me more time to engage. And as great as all the scheduling things are, things sometimes don't go perfectly. So I'm always like checking to make sure things are right. I don't have a typo, all those kind of things because I'm not a teenager. It's true.
Right, and the typos
True
are
rock.
evil. I hate typos. When you find that, as I get
I
older, my
know.
detail is not like it used to be. So I'll type and I'm like, oh no, a typo.
As long as it's not in a graphic. When you make one, you see it in a graphic
Oh,
later. It's like,
oh,
oh,
you gotta
gotta
redo the
delete
whole
it
thing.
and re-add it. Yeah.
Yep. This is a good question because I have not even used this yet, but I plan to. The Facebook Live. What do you think about
Mhm.
that? What are your thoughts?
Well, that's Mitch Jackson. He loves
Yes.
he loves all live. He loves blabs and video. He loves it all. I do love Facebook Live, Mitch. I have had it since it was in beta. I have it on the Mentions app, so I have had the luxury of using it before other people did. I tried not to flaunt it too much. Now everybody has it, and that's awesome because it was frustrating for people who didn't have it. I do like the Live app, but what you miss between Live and Periscope and Blab is when you're on Blab, you're talking to someone else and you can engage with other people. And when you're on Live, you're talking at people. And Periscope, you're talking at people. So I like it, but I do it in shorter bursts because, I just don't want to be sitting there talking to myself for 20 minutes. Like, hey, everybody, like, I do it and it's fun and I love it. And there's some people who are really killing it with their live videos. And I'll give you an example, Mitch. I'm not sure if you know Vicky Howell. She's a craft blogger, and I absolutely love her. She does a weekly question and answer, and she has a huge Facebook community, and she does YouTube videos, but she does a question and answer, and she literally shows people like how to knit things from patterns. She's like super popular in the knitting and crafting world, and she's doing great stuff with Facebook Live video. So it's really interesting to see how different people use it in different industries. I loved when it first came out. One of the first ones I saw was Alton Brown from the Food Network, and he just like cooked, and I was like, oh my God. And Martha Stewart stands as one of my favorite Facebook Live. Like she did Thanksgiving, like how to make pies, which I already use her recipes anyway. I'm a big fan of hers, but she's so awesome on camera. Not only was she awesome, her kitchen was beautiful, of course. She had help, assistants, but she also was like pitching her books during it because she is the marketing queen pro of all the world. He's like, oh, and if you like this recipe, you can get my pies and cookies cookbook from 10 years ago. She was like seamlessly pitching. I was like, you go, Martha. She really it was a total masterclass on how to be awesome on camera because of course she did a TV show for years and she's on the radio. And she also used to do like Today Show live. She would go and cook like before she had her own shows. Mm-hmm. So it's really cool to see the super pros that are like celebrities that are really have great on camera presence, what they're using it for. And Martha's killing it. She just like cooks live, and people on my Facebook are like, can you cook live? And I'm like, why do you guys want me to cook? I'm a social media pro. I'm like, I could, but it would just be like, isn't that not my niche? But people were like, still like, will you make cookies? I might someday because people ask, but it's really cool to see how different people are using it. And Mitch is another, he's the one that asked the question. He's an attorney and he is killing it, connecting with people, and they're getting to see his face and they love him, even though he's an attorney, which a lot of times people are like, ooh, but he's giving like putting an awesome face and a friendly persona to something that maybe would be intimidating or scary. And actually, Mitch did tell me that it is helping him build his whole business. Is that correct, Mitch? I believe that's exactly what you told me.
That's important. Yes, she has a book. I'm going to repost the link to her book.
I think he was kidding. I'm fairly certain.
That's Mitch. Okay. So
I actually never do that. I need to be seamless like Martha. If you really want to know how I manage all my social.
Exactly.
That I wrote the book actually to answer the questions that you're asking me, because a lot of people ask the same things. Like they ask, like, how do you do what you do? And that is what I kind of wrote out. And I do it on my blog all the time. Like just tips and tricks that I find that help make it easier for other people to be awesome on social media. It makes me happy when other people like try my stuff and then they're like, that's so amazing. I tried Trello and it's great. Like it makes me happy.
Okay, all right. Let me ask you, because I'm assuming that there's different times that are great times or best times to post, to do a blog entry. Have you found that there's one like overall general time that works for almost everything, or is it just individualized?
It's really hard to say. Like, I have posted on Monday morning forever since I started my blog. Like I told myself I was going to do it once a week. I do it on Mondays. My blogging buddy, Rebecca Radice, she does hers on Mondays. Things that you read will say that Tuesdays are better. And we're like, but we always do it on Monday. So it's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. But some people have great luck doing it on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's kind of what works the best with you and where can you be consistent. I write on the weekends and then I publish during the week. I've accidentally hit publish. I'm sure other people have done that before too. When I meant to hit update, didn't change my date yet. It published accidentally on Sunday and it did like the same.
Really?
So I'm not sure if there is 100% a best time to post for anything, actually. Like everything, I check my own stuff, like my own Twitter stats on, when I should post, and my own Facebook, like I check my own things. It's really hard to say like overall, like what's the best time. There's so many factors in it. Like how could there be one time that would be best for every single person? But I understand like everybody wants to know, like it's a question that everybody wants to know, like when should I do it? But I think it's good to know, when it's easiest for you to be consistent and when you can work it in your schedule. And then, if you post at a time and it doesn't seem to do well, then maybe play around with it. Do you have a time when you usually post on your blog?
Well, basically, I try to do everything at night, like when my husband's watching television, unless The Walking Dead's on or Game of Thrones. Those are only 2 shows all year that I watch. But if those aren't on, I'm usually doing my social media and I'm trying to post. I have a Huffington Post blog as well, so I kind of work on that almost like a full-time job.
Yeah.
So And
It really, blogging is like if blogging is like having a kid.
oh yeah, and it's a lot of responsibility. And
It is.
like I said, I always want to make sure I don't have typos. So I'm constantly reading. I'll let it sit overnight, come back to it. I make sure.
Yeah.
I used to be a news reporter, so I want to make sure I have my statistics in there, everything. So
Yeah.
that's important to me. It's really important. But and I saw that we were talking about pies, and Ross put that you were making him hungry for pie. By the way, I just wanted to make sure I pointed that out.
You use the Hemingway app. That's another one that I love.
No, I don't know about that one. Tell us about it.
I love it. You can put your stuff in there and it helps, it corrects it.
Oh,
I mean, it's not just spelling, but it actually, yeah, it's a really good app.
I'm writing that down.
They have an extension where you can check stuff, but you can just cut and paste stuff in there, and I love it. The other one, oh shoot, what's that other one that I was just using? Grammarly. Grammarly is another great one.
I did hear about that one. I haven't tried it yet, though. Grammarly.
You know what I like about that one? It's an Chrome extension, and it will actually do spell check on your social media posts.
Oh, great. That's great. That's fantastic.
So when you're typing it, instead of scheduling it with a typo in it, it checks it.
I need that. I'm going to definitely look at that too. I just want to tell everyone we have only a little bit, about 5 minutes, not even, with Peg. So this is the time to get your questions, post your questions, and we're going to be wrapping up shortly. So go ahead, guys. Shoot.
I love the little map that shows you where people are now.
Isn't it nice? Nice.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of best times to post and things like that, what about if you have a 9-to-5 job and you want to be a successful blogger? Is it just that you got to take all your weekends up and TV time doing this? Is that what we have to do? I don't have. I do full time.
Yeah. Well, you know what the thing is? Like, I do client work all week, and I write for my blog only on Saturday mornings.
Okay.
So I don't write out. I mean, it's kind of like I have a 9 to, if only my job were 9 to 5, but it's kind of like having, because when I'm doing client work, I'm not writing on my personal blog. So I do post on Mondays and I'm doing social media for it, but it is hard. I mean, you do just have to it's a commitment. You just have to take a chunk of time and give it to it. I mean, I gave up TV for Twitter and blogging. And, I used to watch quite a few shows, and I barely watch anything now, but Grease was an exception for me because it was live and I just wanted to watch it. But yeah, I think unfortunately, if you want to be a blogger, you do have to give up some time somewhere, because there's always something to do with a blog. Like, you have to update your plugins, then, and then you're, answering comments. It is a time commitment.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ross also asked, what strategy changed your results right away when you found it?
I think using Trello. When I found Trello to organize my stuff, I changed the way I did a lot of things, and it saved me time because it helped me. It was the one thing that helped organize a lot of pieces for me. Like, if I wanted to, say, batch create some graphics, if Canva, I made a bunch of graphics before. It's like, how do you keep those organized? Like, what do you do with them? And then I could lose what the idea that I had to post it for. So this way I can kind of go through the whole process of creating it, writing the text, and then I put it into Trello and it's there when I need it or when I want it. So I think using Trello and just playing around with their organization features can really just zoom your productivity, which is always important, and save some time.
Oh, good. Let me ask you about this content management buzzword that I keep hearing about, and reusing, reposting, repurposing old and new blog posts. What's your insight on this, and does it work really well as they say it does?
It works for me. Good. I started doing it a long time ago. And honestly, there's been weeks when I didn't have a new blog post and I was kind of freaking out because I was like, oh my God, I didn't the pressure you put on yourself as a blogger if you don't publish something. I have pulled an old blog post and just maybe corrected it, added a few things, created a new graphic, and shared it again. Okay, let me ask you this question. How do people really know if you just wrote it or if you wrote it 6 months ago or 2 years ago?
Sure.
They don't.
Absolutely.
It's still good content. So if you find great stuff that you have on your blog that's older, brush it off, give it a new graphic and share it. I mean, like people don't care as long as everything's up to date on it. You don't want to share one that has like, Twitter tools from 4 years ago that half of them are gone. People would be like, what the heck? So it has to be something that's evergreen and still can be fresh, or take out of the things that maybe aren't, updated with new tools or something. But I have definitely done that, and I continue to do that. I share a lot of my old posts. I repin them. I tweet them a lot. I never get any complaints. I never have people say, why are you sharing your old posts? People are like, yay, some of my old ones are my most popular. So definitely people who just hit share once on their blog post and then don't get any traffic, it's because you're only sharing once. You have to actually share things quite a bit.
Well, I noticed a lot of times people haven't seen the original post either, so that works out really well. Yeah.
Or you can repurpose things for Huffington Post, and I don't know if you do that. Like I'll rewrite things a little bit. I don't like to republish exactly usually, but I do like to do that. So yeah, I definitely repurpose. I have a good blog series that Rebecca and I did together on, like, we both did like 25 ways you can like repurpose content. So we've both written about it quite a bit. But if you're a blogger and you're not repurposing and reusing content, definitely Google search it and find some articles to give you great tips, because it's a necessity.
Okay. Well, we're at the end of our show. Sorry, guys. But any other advice that you have for new bloggers or those just trying to get engaged followers on social media?
New bloggers, try not to be so hard on yourself. I think I'm so hard on myself as a blogger sometimes. Like an hour and a half ago, I crashed my site and I was like, why did I do that? Like, I was working on something, and like everybody makes mistakes, and like everything is fixable on your blog. You can usually fix it. If you can't, you can find somebody who can fix it. So don't freak out about your blog, and just try to be consistent. That's the most important thing, is consistency and finding out what people want from you. So if you're not sure what people like about you or your blog for your social media, ask people. Like on my Facebook page, every once in a while, I will just write like, what do you guys like the best? What do you want to see more of? Like, do you want to see more? And on my business Facebook page, they said they wanted to see more of my personal stuff, like more of just me behind the scenes. So I was like, okay, like I was kind of like not sharing as much because of that stuff, because I share it on Instagram. And if people, that's what people want, then I felt more comfortable doing it. So asking people in your community what they like about what you do can really, really help. Or ask your community what questions you can answer for them, and you will get like amazing blog content, because they'll ask you a question. Like any of the questions I had on here could honestly be a great blog post, right?
Right.
Like
Absolutely.
It's people want to know. So yeah, I would say be consistent and just be yourself. Like don't try to copy other people, but just be your most unique self. And you never have to worry about that you're not being yourself, because you're just who you are. People who try to copy people too much end up like it's not right, and people know it's not right. Like, it just doesn't fit.
Yes. Be your authentic self, they say. So
yeah.
if just to the audience, if you're just getting here at the end of the show, you want to subscribe to my show so you can get the notification when we go live. So don't forget to do that. I'll talk about that a little bit in a minute. And just right before we go, tell us about your book, The Art of Social Media, and where we can get it. I'm going to also post the link for those who are live again.
Okay. Thank you. The Art of Social Media. Oh, I have a copy somewhere. I'm a bad book pitcher, like unlike Martha. I'll just pretend I'm Martha. So I wrote The Art of Social Media with Guy Kawasaki to answer the questions, how I do everything that I do. Like, how do I do things on social media? How should you get set up? So it's like 101 power tips that you can take and you can read it all at once. You can take little tips, try different things, and just make your own social media better.
Very good.
So that's really what the book is about.
And I read it. I used a lot of the tips. I highlighted. I wrote in it. It's one of my favorite books.
You.
So it's a really, really good book. I highly recommend it. All right. So thank you, Peg, for coming on Encore, the show for entrepreneurs. For everyone, please note I will be off air next Monday, as I will be traveling, but I will be back on Monday, February 15th, same time, same place at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will be interviewing the reigning Mrs. District of Columbia America, whose platform is empowerment for women through entrepreneurship. This is a show you don't want to miss. Lots of valuable information. And please don't forget to follow us both on Twitter. Mine is at Encore Entrepreneur, even though they haven't changed it and updated it yet. Vlad is very slow about doing that. And also at Peg Fitzpatrick, so that we can interact with you guys at all times and any time. And one last thing, if you could all just tweet this out one more time by clicking the little bird to the left for Twitter, it will alert your followers about the replay of this wonderful interview. So if you enjoyed it, please feel free to share it. And that's it. Thank you so much, Peg.
Thank you for having me, and thanks for all the great questions, everybody. Really awesome audience.
Very,
typing to them.
Okay.